What's happening, Shredder Nation? Welcome to episode number 96 of Living the Shredder Life. My name's Jesse James Jamnik. I'm your host, ER Shred Health / Nutrition Coach. And tonight, man, oh man, do I got a special treat for you. We are celebrating Mr. Tim Scott, who is officially a 100-pound club member of ER Shred. Tim, I'm so proud of you, dude. I am so proud of you. Welcome to this call. Thank you so much for taking the time. I greatly appreciate you.
Thanks, Jesse, for having me. Yeah, it's 100 pounds. It's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy, and I want to dive into all of that. So let's just start this thing off. First minute, high level. When did you officially start the ER Shred?
October 1st, 2021. Started it. I think that first shred, I lost like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I gave up soda, energy drinks, sweets. I just dove headfirst in with the help of my friends Mike and Jamie Hass, and I saw those immediate results, and it was just like, wow, this is kind of insane. And so
This is a little different. I'm gonna
keep rolling with this. Yeah, I'm gonna keep rolling with this and see where it takes me.
So October 1st, obviously it's October 16th. So we just celebrated our 1 year Shreddiversary is what Dexter and I nicknamed it, right? Shreddiversary. I can't even say it. It's such a tongue twister. So 1 year, a little over 1 year, but really 1 year. That is a remarkable feat, Tim. I mean, I know you and I were talking a little bit off air, and I reminded you, you're like, listen, I still got more to go. And I'm like, I can appreciate that. You are one determined son of a gun. And I want to get into all those mind tricks. I want to get into all the hacks, because if we can serve somebody and we can help them do what you do, I think, knowing you're a servant leader, with your family, with your church, with your community. Dexter, obviously last week when we did that, Dexter's a pretty motivated guy. And he's like, look, dude, Tim Scott is an animal. And I mean, to lose that in 1 year, Tim, from my perspective as a health coach, that is something I hope you're so proud of that, dude. I hope you're so proud. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you, because the last time I had you on this call, you were only at like the 50-pound mark, like 50 to 53 pounds.
Right.
And you kept going, and there's not a lot of people that stick with things. So that's one thing that I'm really excited for you for, man. And I'm sure it's changed your life in a lot of ways.
It has. It's, I mean, my health is so much better. My activity level with my kids is so much better. I was at 50 pounds. I was feeling good, Dexter, he is. He just went and he's getting his pilot's license, or already got it in a very short amount of time. I mean, he does a lot of stuff, and I look at him and I think, man, he's amazing. I just, I started doing it. I started doing the shreds. I saw results immediately. And as I'm sure this is probably a lot of the people that I see on the community page, they start getting to that point where they're like, well, I'm not losing as much this time. And the way I looked at that was, man, I had so much to lose right away. I was 313 pounds the day I started. And I saw immediate huge results. But each shred, they would get a little less and a little less. And it's like, well, okay, when you have that much to lose, you're going to start tapering down, because your body's getting into better condition. Your body's getting where it should be. So you're not, there's not as much fat to trim. So you're not going to see those huge results every time. And so I just kind of kept thinking that to myself, just stay consistent. I just put a post on the community page, I think a day or two ago. And it kind of thought of it when I saw your talk with Dexter last week. And it was, you guys talked about, consistency being key. And that's exactly the word that was in my brain when you guys were talking right before one of you mentioned it. And I was like, that's exactly it. And so what I mentioned was, look, everybody's going to struggle at some point in time. Every one of us does. We're all flawed. And we have all these temptations around us all the time, and then stress starts getting into you, life starts chewing into you, and it's very easy to fall into those old bad habits. And what I was thinking to myself was, look, can you make just one more good decision? Just get through this decision, make it a good decision. And then when you get to the next one, make that decision. I mean, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, let's take it one good decision at a time. And as long as you keep making those good decisions, you're going to see results. If you make a bad decision, just make a good decision the next time. And my biggest struggle this summer, we took a vacation. We went to Wisconsin and Minnesota. I'd never been to either. I'd been to the airport in Minnesota, and that was it.
Yeah.
I guess I had just barely been across the border with North Dakota and Minnesota the previous summer, but about 10 feet into the state. But so we're in Wisconsin. We're 3 blocks from Lambeau Field. You're in the cheese capital of the world. It was hard to stay on track, but I did my 2 shakes. We went out to dinner with some friends. We had a pizza place. And it's like, well, okay, I'm going to have the perch. I'm not going to have the pizza, but I'm going to have the perch. Right. I tried to make the best bad decisions that I could. Yeah. Stuck with iced tea. I didn't drink any beer. I didn't drink any pop. And then the next week we're in Minnesota, and we went to there's an amusement park there. I always want to say Apple Valley, but I know that's not right. Valley Fair. That's it. And, honest to God, it's harder to find water to drink in that amusement park than it is soda. And it's even harder to find iced tea than it is water. And so, that those 2 days that we were there, I fell off. I had soda because it was just convenient. And we're trying to get as much of the amusement park in as we can. And I didn't want to take the time to walk 2/3 of the park back over to a concession stand that I knew I could get an iced tea at when, my kids are going to want to go ride this ride and this ride. But with that being said, I got back, I went right into a shred. I felt amazing on that shred because I got all that junk out of my body. Right? It's like, okay, I know I'm not making great decisions, but I know I can make a better decision, at my next opportunity.
Yeah. Bro. Wow. Wow. Incredible. The mindset tricks. I hope so many people are picking up on what you're putting down. I really do. You laid out so much. I mean, one of the key things that you said was you gave yourself permission to be a human. And I think that's a big piece, Tim. I think it's a big piece that a lot of people mix. And then listen, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. This dude is literally showing you, he's been here a little over a year. He's lost over 100 pounds. Do you even know how many inches?
I
lost track. It's just so many, right?
I went from wearing a 46-inch waist on my pants to a 36-inch, and the 36 is a little, it's a little loose. Some days it's a little loose. Some days it's a little fits just right. Some days it's a little snug. It just kind of. I haven't stepped on a scale for quite a while because I called it the arbitrary gravity detector one time. And it's just like. That is important, but it's like I'm feeling good.
You feel
my
good.
Clothes are feeling better. I'm not going to let that number dictate my mood, And I want to keep going, but I also am not going to stress out every day about where I'm at. Right. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Finish.
I was going to say I know I hit 100 pounds. I might be sitting at 95 or 90 pounds lost right now. I might be sitting at 105. And it doesn't really matter to me where that number is today because it'll be different tonight. It'll be different tomorrow. As long as I keep making those good choices, it's going to keep going in the right direction.
Where did you learn to think like this? And why I ask you this is there are hundreds of people, maybe 1,000, maybe more in our group right now that I know for sure are struggling. I know that, I've watched the posts. I started, I stopped, I messed up, I fell off, I'm getting back on. one of the things I'm hearing from you is even though you recognize that you kind of fell off, it never was a full derailment. I haven't heard the words from you that you fully derailed. You looked at it instead and shifted your mindset, which I think is so amazing, that you were like, look, like, here's the reality of the situation. Here's where I'm at. I'm having fun with my family. I'm doing things with my kids. I'm making memories. Like, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't fit my lifestyle choice of today, but I'm not going to beat the heck out of myself. Like, I don't deserve to destroy myself and all my hard work because of one situation, and then you jump right back on. So I know there's people struggling, Tim. Like, where did you, and then you just did it again. Like, you just, the mindset shift that you're looking at it, like, where did you come from? Because to get to 313 pounds, there's been some bad choices. There's been some, I'm sure you tried to get healthy and probably fell off a couple of times and did some diets and lost some weight and put it back on, which is the typical story. Like, how did you get to this point? Like, help people understand if they're struggling right now, if you don't mind, what are some of those ninja mindset tricks that you're talking about? Because I'm really impressed, dude. I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't coach many people that I hear that have that type of mindset. And I know it's such a huge part of why you're here, where you're at today. So how can we help more people get to where you're at?
Well, I guess I would look at it like this. I grew up fairly active. I wrestled. I played baseball when I was a kid. I was a pretty competitive wrestler when I was really young, and pretty good baseball player. Okay. And as I got older, my body developed much slower than everybody else. So I got to the point where I was a boy playing with men. Okay. And so I started getting my ass kicked a lot. I mean, life was kicking my ass, and it's one of those things where I learned how to deal with defeat. And I think that taught me to, what am I going to do? Stay down? No, I've always been, kind of a scrappy person. It's like, I'm not going to take this from anybody or anything. Sure. And so I fight back. In my professional life, I had a job that I thought I wanted forever. I got the position. It was shift work. It just totally screwed with my brain. Mm-hmm. It was the best paying job I'd ever had. It had been a goal of mine for a long time, and I was making mistakes because my brain was not functioning. And I got let go, and because I was in a probationary period, and rightfully so, because I made mistakes, and it was in a oil and gas refinery, and I had always exceeded expectations in every other job I'd ever done. I'd always done very well, and it was just really that was a really low point in my life when I had to call my wife on the way home from work that day and say, hey, I just lost my job. By the way, what are we going to do to make the house payment? What are we going to do to keep food on the table? Stuff like that. I mean, I went out that day, went home, started filling out applications at any job that was open. I took a job at the sporting goods store that I actually just went back to them this year because they were like, hey, we can use you. We'll work around your schedule. We know your kids are busy. Mm-hmm. Come in whenever you can, kind of thing. So they appreciate my efforts, and they are flexible with me. And so I went back to work with. That was the first job I took going back because they were hiring. I needed work, and I went right into it. And then I was able to go back to my old position. And so it was one of those things where it's like, okay, that's a pretty big blow to your ego. That's a pretty big blow to your financial situation. What am I going to do? Am I going to go wander out in the woods and go die of exposure because I got my ass kicked? No, get back out there. Go get your ass to work.
But where does that? And listen, I respect the hell out of that because it's the way that I view too. You know what I mean? Like, if I get, and again, it wasn't always like that, obviously. Now, you brought up a couple key things. As you were growing up, you were an athlete. I think, any child in some sort of competitive athletic state, we learn the lessons of how to lose and how to come back, right? Like it's one of the most beautiful things that I feel every child should play sports for that reason, because you learn how to lose properly, right? Like life is not always going to hand you rainbows and unicorns. You know what I mean? Like as much as we want to believe that, like you can have all the positive mantras in the world. You can talk to yourself positively, like all the hoopty-loopty. But when push comes to shove, like you're going to get your ass kicked sometimes. It's just inevitable, right? You know, I call it suck it up, buttercup. Like, listen, like suck it up. Like it could be worse, right? But how do you, like, what can we do for somebody that's like, yeah, Tim, I get it. Like I should do that. Like what are so, like, is it just natural to you now? Like you just get beat down and like, you're like, okay, like how can I keep going? Like what keeps you going? Like, what is it that keeps you pushing forward when life kind of kicks you in the head?
I think it is. I got kind of an FU attitude, you know.
I like that. I can.
It's like, hey, I'm not going to take that from you. You know, life, whatever. I guess another way I could put it is like, okay, look, I fell off the shred wagon. Does that mean immediately I got to go start smoking crack because that's the extreme I have to go to? No. Okay, I fell off this little bit. Let's just get back on track. I mean, you don't have to. One little flaw is not a total failure. You know, it's.
I think that's huge. I just want to stop you real quick right there, because what you're talking about is hitting these speed bumps, and instead of like never driving again, we're going to get back in the car and keep driving. Right. And you keep saying the same thing in all these different arenas in life, and I just want to make sure that people are connecting the dots. Like I'm following you. I got you, but like. The reality is like a lot of people will be like, okay, like, oh my God, like, you know, I went out with the girls and I don't know, I ate some pizza. And then that one decision all of a sudden is like, well, I ate that pizza and I messed everything up. So I might as well just keep making all these bad decisions. And then those bad decisions lead to more bad decisions. And then it leads to this sense of like, oh, there you go, Jesse, you failed again. Like, and then you start talking bad to yourself. So it's like, is it the why? Is it your why of what you're looking for that keeps it going for people? Like, I'm trying to pull out, like, what can somebody do that doesn't think like you? Like, how can you get to that place where it's like not beating the living crap out of yourself just because you decided to be human for a little while? Like, we can't all be robots. You know what I mean? If you want to live your life like a Spartan, like, go at it, Haas. Like, if you can actually do that, go at it. But like, how do you just like, how do we get people to not self-sabotage themselves all the time and fall off this derailment, you know what I mean, in this mindset thinking?
Well, I think, you know, I'm a perfect example of that mindset for ever until I started shredding. You know, what's the point? I'm too far gone. I'm already overweight. I'm, you know, unhealthy. I don't care as long as I can, you know, provide for my family, this and that, you know, I had 3 beers. I might as well have 12, you know. I had, you know, half a pizza. I don't want it to go to waste. I might as well finish the pizza if I'm in a hotel room traveling for work or something, you know. It's just, I had that mindset.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't tell you exactly when it switched for me. Honestly, I think it's the same why as I had from the get-go is going to dad camp with my kids and not being able to participate, you know. This year
talk about that for a minute.
So, you know, we're in the mountains. We're at these camps in the mountains, and I would get winded just walking from activity to activity. I couldn't do the zip line. I couldn't play basketball with my kids. I couldn't do a lot of the stuff with my kids that they wanted to do, and I could just kind of see in their face and their reaction how disappointed they were that I wasn't able to participate the same way a lot of these other dads were. Fast forward to dad camp this year. The co-founder was at the camp that I was at with my youngest daughter, and he was watching me with my daughter, and he's seeing me carry her around on my back, like giving her a piggyback everywhere. She always wants a piggyback somewhere, and I used to never give her piggybacks. Yeah. You know, I was so wide in the back, she could barely get on. You know, she's hanging on for dear life, choking me out. And he's looking at me and he says, man, he says, you couldn't have done that last year. And I said, well, me carrying her around is equivalent to how I was just walking around myself last year. Yeah. I mean, her weight and my weight, that's where I was last year.
Yeah.
You know, and I was playing hockey with her. I was playing basketball with her. I was carrying around a piggyback. My oldest and I, when we went up and volunteered on the weekend, she and I hiked up to this waterfall that I never would have done that last year. You know, she was just really, I mean, we got a bunch of pictures and it was just she and I. And I mean, it was just a very special moment for both of us. My son, he watched me play basketball with him. He'd never seen me play basketball. He'd never seen me shoot around. He's like, Dad, you're a good basketball player. Like, no, I'm not very good. He's like, well, you know, you better than me. And it's like, well, but I've had a lot more time to practice, you know, but they had never seen that I could do this stuff. And when we went to the amusement park, I got to ride every ride with them. My oldest and I did one of these things where they put you in this harness and they pull you up and then you pull a ripcord and you free fall for about 20 feet and then you swing.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done that with her last year because I was too heavy. And one of the days we were at this water park, you know, I'm walking around with my shirt off. I never would have wanted to do that last year. And not that I would like to do it, not that I wanted to do it much this year, but you know, it's like I didn't feel as uncomfortable in my own skin as I would have before. And as I'm walking around the water park, I'm like, there's a lot of people here that are in the same condition I was in last year. And I think, you know, like we were talking about offline, I've given myself permission to celebrate where I'm at, but that's not the end of my journey. I've given myself permission to make mistakes, but that's also not the end of my journey.
Bro, I literally have chills. I literally have chills because it's kind of like, this reminds me of like my chat with your buddy Dexter, you know, and it was him describing the zip line in Vegas. And, you know, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, I'm going to just be very transparent. I take for granted my physical ability at this point in the game. You know, I mean, I can roll around, I can bear crawl, I can do all these crazy things with my kids. And I just, you know, I'm so thankful for it, but I always remember, you know, just, I was overweight as a kid versus as an adult. But I just can't, I always try to imagine like what it would be like, take those memories from childhood and put it into being Jesse the adult with children and not being able to do that or being made fun of all the time and feeling uncomfortable. I would imagine that's a big piece, right? A big why. Like when you started to lose the weight and feel that relief and maybe your joints didn't hurt anymore and you weren't, you know, you could tie your shoes without losing your breath and you could walk up a flight of stairs or you could crawl around on the floor. Talk to it about a little bit about like, what did it feel like as a dad not being able to do those things? And then what's the difference in, I mean, those memories, I would imagine like that's life. I mean, I would think these are life-changing events that you're describing to me right now.
They are. 2 years prior, we had gone to the fair and I was going to do a ride called Speed where they strap you in and on each end of this long arm that spins you around and the chairs spin. I went to get on it with my daughter and the guy couldn't buckle the harness around me. He couldn't get it to click in because I was too.
What did that feel like?
Yeah, it's totally embarrassing. I was totally embarrassed for my daughter because she didn't want to ride it by herself. I was embarrassed for myself. I was mainly embarrassed for her though because you know you've learned to numb the pain. But as a dad, our kids are. I mean, dude, you're our treasure.
You're a good dad. I mean, you're a good-hearted human being. I can only imagine. I mean, you're a guy that wants to do everything for everybody. Never mind everybody, but these are your own kids, right? And I can only imagine the hit that it took.
They might disagree with you because they think I'm kind of a hard ass sometimes, but you know that you got to be. It's that whole livestock and rainbows all the time, right?
You're a good dad, yeah. You're teaching him the way.
You had a chat about a client you had that was a soccer player, and the 7 reasons.
Yes.
And I don't know if you ever said her name, and I don't recall it if you did, but
I did not.
when you got to the point about where she felt the shame, and we talked before, you had asked me, do you think there's shame there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's, and what is shame? What's shame going to make you do? It's going to make you feel sorry for yourself. You're going to throw yourself a little pity party. So then what are you going to do? You're going to fall into that bad habit. You're going to go grab that bowl of ice cream. Well, let's have one or two more scoops. I'm going to have that whole bag of chips.
Company. Misery loves company, right?
So it's that shame thing, and it's absolutely. I think everybody that's struggling, everybody that's at doing ER shred, I think whether they'd recognize it or not, I think that is probably the origin point of their pain that causes them to make the bad decisions. And I just I see that from everybody that I see on the calls and stuff. I think it's in there. They may not see that that's where it's coming from.
So you're saying the origin of why they keep self-sabotaging is something to do with the pain, whether that's the pain of what you described, maybe it's the pain of past trauma, maybe it's the pain of a bad relationship. It could be in all that context, right? So what would you say what can people do about that? I mean, how did you deal with the shame of those moments, right? And you've only described one. I'm sure there's more that you could talk about, but how did you deal with that shame and then use that as a catalyst for motivation? Because that's really what you've done. I mean, you've only been doing this for a year. I mean, up until a year ago, you were the old Tim Scott. That old Tim Scott is now dead, and you've created a new Tim Scott. I like to think of it like that, right? Like I shedded my skin of the old Jesse. And that person's dead to me. Like the stupid stuff I did that I'm very shameful of from my 20s, that person is not me. That person's dead. But I'll be honest with you, Tim, I lived in that for so long. I thought that defined me. I thought that that's who I was. So while it wasn't weight, I dealt with it in different ways. So I can totally relate to what you're saying. So what's the trick? Like, how does somebody like you or me, like, how do we take that shame and then be able to shift it into using it as a positive for ourselves? Like, how did you do it?
I think the way I would describe it is you got to have some self accountability. What the origin point is may not have been your fault, but every poor decision after that is your fault. It is your decision.
That is so powerful. Wow. Okay.
So what are you going to do? Keep making bad decisions because something in your past sucked? Or are you just going to say, no, I'm going to get better and do better? And if it's not for you, do it for somebody that you love, somebody you care for, your kids, your brother, your sister, your nieces and nephews, your significant other.
Something, right? Something to start the fire. Yeah.
Or novel idea, do it for yourself because you're important enough to do it for.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that. I was like, is there a point where it has to, like, if you need to do it for someone else because you might not feel that you're deserving, even though Tim and I believe you are, do it for something. Like, do it for something to get that fire started. But I was going to say, do you believe that has to shift at some point to an internal belief in oneself in order to really make the long haul, right? Like, it can't always be for somebody else. Do you believe that or?
I don't think it has to, but I think it will. I think eventually it's going to. Because you're going to come to the point where it's like, well, I'm already in a better place. And my kids are in a better place because they see where I'm at. And my wife is in a better place because she sees where I'm at. I'm going to be around longer for her. But now it's like, well, this isn't the end of where I'm going. I want to keep going. And, so now it is for me.
That's awesome, dude. I think that was so powerful. Excuse me. That was so powerful what you said. Like, it might not be your choice. And some people are going to say, well, okay, Tim, okay, Jesse, like, literally the bad thing that happened to me, it was, past trauma. It was something that was totally out of my control. And
Right.
while we can appreciate that, living in the victim mentality, in the victim mindset, because of something like that, I don't believe somebody deserves to do that. And is that going to be easy to shift your mind? No. Are you going to have to do some deep work? Are you going to have to, deal with some emotions? Are you going to have to fight the demons and slay the dragons along the way? Yeah, you most certainly are. I mean, we're not going to lie to you. Like, there's going to be really low moments. Like, over the last year, Tim, I'm sure you've had some low points where you had to kind of have a talk with yourself, right? Am I imagining this, or am I?
I actually, that vacation was the toughest. No, that vacation,
That's
because
awesome.
I've seen such positive progress, right?
Okay.
And I've seen the way my attitude has been positively affecting the people around me. My daughter that just walked by, she used to play basketball a lot, and she decided she didn't want to play basketball this year because she wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
She's a great drummer. She drums. She does a lot of other stuff. And then I saw a post on Facebook by a friend of mine that open mat at the high school that she's going to. She's a freshman in high school.
Okay.
I grew up wrestling. She's never wrestled. Girls wrestling in high school has just become a thing in Montana in the last 2 years.
Interesting.
I was always hesitant to let I didn't want my girls to wrestle because I had to wrestle girls when I was younger because I was one of the smallest guys. I just I don't like it. But I just sent her a message, hey, do you want to go give it a try? Yeah. She says no. And then she talked to my wife. She's like, why would Dad be asking me that?
Yeah.
So she went to open mat, loved it. Went to open mat again the next week, loved it. Went and lifted weights for the first time ever last Monday, loved it. If I'm the slob that I was just sitting in the chair, life's kicking me in the butt, I can't do anything about it. Am I gonna inspire her to go try something new? Like you were talking with Dexter, it's you got to be brave enough. That's like we have a plaque on our wall that says be brave enough to suck at something new. So be brave enough to try something. Yeah.
You posted
be brave enough to try something and not be great at it. And she's like, she's going to go out. She's going to try it. She's going to be on the wrestling team this year. Great. And it's like, my son's asking me, Dad, are you happy that she's wrestling? I said, I'm just happy that she's doing anything, and I said, the fact that I understand wrestling because I did it, makes it easier for me, makes me a little bit proud. But I said, but I'm proud of you that you play hockey, and I'm proud of you that you play lacrosse and that you play basketball and, for your school and stuff like that. I'm no more proud of her that she's wrestling than I am of you doing your things. I'm just proud that you guys do things, right? And try new things. And I think he might try to do wrestling this year because he did it when he was really little and didn't really like it, Yeah. And my youngest, man, she's just a spark plug. She wants to do everything, and she's definitely got that FU attitude. She's like, she doesn't care what anybody thinks. She's going to do what she wants to do. And I think going back to that past trauma and stuff, you got to have that you got to kind of give yourself that attitude and say, F you. Yeah, I didn't do this to me. You did this to me, or this situation did this to me, but I'm not going to let that keep kicking me in the ass every day. F you. I'm doing this in spite of you.
Yes, dude. So allow, if you're struggling, if you're in a bad place, whatever it may be, take this man's advice. Allow me to give you the permission. If nobody's given you the permission, if you've not given yourself the permission, please allow us to be the ones to tell you that it's okay, to give yourself the permission to say F you to whatever it may be, it may be, because you deserve it. I mean, Tim, you are so elegantly describing the definition of health is our greatest wealth, in my opinion, right? You heard me preach this, and I tell people, I go, look, it's going to start with weight loss. Why? Because 88% of the population is struggling, right? So I get it. Everybody wants to lose weight, right? We all want to lose. That's what I hear as a coach in nutrition all the time. Like, what's your goal? I want to lose weight. I'm like, okay, great. Here we go again, right? I want to lose weight. I'm like, but that's okay to start, right? But that's not what's going to happen. If you can take these mindset tricks and you can find a program, Shred, a protocol that puts you back on the tracks. It's not going to tell you exactly what to do. It's going to give you the baseline fundamentals, right? That every human can function from. And then from there, we're going to coach you. We're going to guide you. We're going to cheerlead for you. We're going to pick you back up. We're going to do anything that you need. Like, that's the beautiful thing about Shred and the community, right? It's there for everybody. And we're going to be there. You're going to find somebody that you can resonate with. You're going to find somebody that's been in your situation, which I think is one of the most powerful components of this whole entire protocol, is you're not alone. Like, you're on your own journey, but you're never alone. You're never doing it by yourself. You have thousands of people in this community that act like family. And I think that's such a huge, important thing. And if you can just give yourself that permission, you have the ability to break free. And when you start to see that, you mentioned, Tim, you said in the beginning, I got those fast results. I think that's a big piece too. Like, you're going to get those fast results. And I don't know who coached you or if you just thought of it, but man, did you nail long-term health. You're like, look, like, I'm 300 pounds. If I shift the way that if I'm pounding sodas and candy bars and I'm pounding potato chips and I'm pounding pizza, and then I refrain from that, and instead I choose nutrient-dense, bioavailable food, right? Good quality meats, hydration, good cheeses, eggs, whatever the case may be. Like, you're only putting in good nutrition. Of course, your body is going to react, right? We call those in the science field, we call those newbie gains, right? And this is why it's important to be careful of research too, because they're always taking people that was the old Tim, putting them into a protocol, and they're like, look, we have this much weight loss, we have this. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But those are called newbie gains. Like, what's going to keep somebody going, right? And we have so many examples. I mean, I don't know exactly the number, but you're one of a couple handfuls of people that have lost between 80 and 100 plus pounds at this point in time. So we're talking about the longevity piece. And I think all these tips that you're sharing, these mindset tricks, giving yourself the permission, being okay with saying, F you, let's go. Nobody else's opinion matters. You brought that up a few times. But I mean, look at what it's done for your life. I mean, not only the memories that you've been able to now create with your children, but you're now inspiring them. And I don't think people realize that that's a piece of this. I mean, that's going to feel remarkable as a father, that you're now inspiring your children to get out there and risk it and not be scared to fail, because you keep doing it, Tim, over and over and over again. Like, you're literally the catalyst for their life now. And I mean, think of the difference. Like, think of the changes, the opportunities that you're opening for your children, because you've been brave enough to say, you know what, Tim, enough is enough. F you. Let's get it going. And it's not about being perfect.
Right.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. If you're striving for perfection, good luck. Like, there's no such thing.
Absolutely.
You're just like doing it step by step. And I love that you said, Tim, one more good decision. Just one more good decision. Just one more good decision. And that's compound pounding, right? That was taught to me by Ed Milet, which is one of the most successful businessmen and well-respected businessmen in the world. And it's like the power of one more good choice, one more step forward, one more this. And those one mores, Tim, as little as they might seem, those have now all compounded for you like money, like compounding interest, right? Like, you can get these things to work in your favor. So I think it's remarkable. I'm really, really super proud of you, dude. I'm really proud of you. I mean, what does it feel like? I mean, what's the emotional feeling? I know you shared the experiences, but like, let's get vulnerable for a second. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does it truly feel like from a dad perspective that you've now given your children the ability to dream bigger and to say, you know what, no matter what, you're never down and out. You're never down and out. You always got another way. What does that feel like as a dad, from a man perspective?
Very satisfying. It's like you said, you're never out of it. And I put a post on LinkedIn, and I had a gentleman. He was formerly upper management for the company I work for now, and I'm not a big hurrah guy. I was like, hey, I lost 100 pounds. I'm not here to tell you how to do it or why to do it. I'm just here to tell you that you can do it. Was my message on LinkedIn, because I'm not trying to sell to anybody or anything like that. I was just saying, hey, you can do it. Not here to tell you how to do it or why to do it or anything like that, but you can do it. You're never too far gone. You're never too old. You're never too out of shape, but you can do something. And this gentleman, he said, congratulations. Basically he said, give yourself some credit because it took a lot of good decisions to get to that point. And that was kind of the impetus of my one good decision after another, type of thing. It's just like, he's right. It did take me to decide every time to make a better decision than I would have in the past.
Yeah.
And it also, I feel like I'm giving my kids one of the greatest gifts they can get. That, you can be in a bad place. You can, life can be kicking you in the ass, and you can be in a bad spot, and you can turn it around for yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Powerful, dude. Very powerful. You're also giving them the gift of their dad at 100%.
Not yet. Something pretty soon, maybe.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that because you're a humble guy. I'll brag on you for a little bit. You're giving your kids the gift of life, Tim. Because when you can describe to me, Jesse, I couldn't get on the zip line. I couldn't walk up the mountain with my daughter. I couldn't carry her on my back. I couldn't go swimming. I didn't want to be myself. Like, you weren't being your true self a year ago. Right. You weren't being that person, Tim. And because you were strong enough to make that decision, you're giving those kids back you. I mean, the memories that you've created, like, are you going to be able to do more? You sure are, dude. Like, I have no doubt you're going to lose weight. Your body composition is going to keep shifting. As that continues to go, you're going to want to work out more. You're going to want to go more hiking. You're going to want to lift more weights. Like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable because you actually feel like a human being, and that's what we're designed to do. But brother, man, allow me to tell you, like, you are giving those kids life. Like, and when I say life, I mean not the memories, the ability to think bigger, the ability to know that no matter what happens, you have the ability to choose whether it's, a bad thing happens or not. You can choose to do right the next time. You don't have to keep choosing bad, right? And mistakes are okay. And I mean, bro, like, I know you might not see it, but from an outside perspective, you are giving them so much, right? And we're just talking about your kids. Like, let's talk about your wife. Let's talk about your relationship. Like, you're showing up as a husband. Like, you're able to deal with more. Talk about that a little bit. Like, what's that been like?
I feel really bad for my wife because she's doing a separate program that she wanted to do, and she's lost like 85 pounds, and she's been working out a lot. She works her butt off, and she looks great, and she's doing great. And we'll post a picture on Facebook, and people will say, "Oh my God, Tim, you look amazing." She does too. They just don't see. They don't see it as much.
Yeah.
And I feel she gets mad at me. She's like, "Could somebody just give me some recognition once in a while?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
"Well, you're
right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because she is working her butt off to get there."
Yeah.
And so it's just because she's doing she's doing something else, and it's working for her, and so it's just like, hey, I'm happy either way.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's crazy you mentioned that. First of all, you just gave her the recognition, so kudos to you for being that type of person. And 85 pounds is remarkable. So you tell her Coach Jesse is recognizing her too. whether she's choosing to do the ER shred or some other way. It's
right.
not about that. Our way is the end all be all. Like,
right.
And if people really understand this concept, like we're teaching you how to make your own blueprint, and
right.
she's doing that.
And that's kind of what she's doing anyways on her own but she's just not doing it with the shakes, and she's doing it as a, I'm going to do this meal and this meal and this meal, and I'm going to add these things and see how, so she's kind of, it's kind of similar, but it's not, and I'm just happy for her. And my kids see her working out, and they've come down and they work out with her sometimes. And
it's remarkable. I mean, look at the like, this is what I hope people get is like, you could be selfish at first, but like the inspiration that you're going to pass on to people around you is life-changing. I mean, I don't know what other word to use. I mean, it's kind of overused, but it's life-changing. Right. And I also, this is also one of the big bonuses and benefits if you choose to, join Shredder Nation, if you will. You get that support, Tim, and she doesn't need anybody else, but I do understand and appreciate that it feels good to be recognized. And I think everybody should be recognized, but it goes to show like, this is a huge piece of the puzzle. Like I know this from health coaching, to have a cheerleading section, to have support, to have thousands of other people backing you. It's something that you can't really put a price tag on. Because it feels good. It's a good thing. And scientifically, it's actually been proven that long-term success goes through the roof when you have that support system. So kudos to you for being that support system and doing that together, because I'm sure that's been a big piece too. You guys can kind of bounce off of each other. You know what I mean? And doing that. And you have that, but so many people don't. And that's another, big important piece of, I think, ER Shred.
If acknowledgement wasn't important, Facebook, Instagram, all these social media companies wouldn't have a like or a thumbs up thing, because they know that creates a dopamine response in your brain.
100%.
And you know what? Instead of letting that affect us negatively, let's use it positively and build up the people that we want to support. Because we know that's exactly what that does for us. So let's use it in a positive way. There's two other things that I wanted to discuss real quick. So when I first started, the like within a week or two of me first starting my shred, I also went on a CPAP machine.
Okay.
And
what is that for people that might not know? What is that?
So it's a pressurized air. It's a mask that uses pressurized air to keep your larynx open when you sleep, so that if you have sleep apnea, what happens is your muscles relax and it'll close off your throat and you'll stop breathing when you sleep. So you get
which is literally choking. You're literally choking while you sleep. It's literally
and then your body wakes up. So you never get full restful sleep because your body is constantly waking up. It's shocking itself awake because you can't get good sleep. It's leads to heart disease. It leads to a lot of other terrible things. So when I started that and I started shredding, it's like that's when I was waking up in the morning and my body was just like zzz. I felt like I was electrified because I was getting such good sleep and I was had energy through the roof. And as I was on vacation this summer, I found that was actually keeping me awake more because I've lost so much weight. Like one of the indications is if your neck is more than like 16 or 18 inches in diameter because of all the extra mass that's on there, you're a prime candidate. And I didn't have terrible sleep apnea to begin with, but I don't snore anymore. I don't even wear that thing anymore because it keeps me up. And I found that I actually am more comfortable sleeping on my stomach again now that I don't have this huge belly that I used to have. I mean, I still have a belly, but so it's like one of those things where it's like the two things combined, I think, work together for like 2/3 of my journey for this first year. And then I didn't need that extra thing anymore, which because I just need to get more sleep, which I think anybody that has
join the club,
any sort of life understands that there's never enough hours to sleep in a day that you should get. But
Sure.
And another thing, going to the community, and me having that kind of FU attitude, I kind of want to apologize to everybody out there. I put a post up like a week and a half ago about a snack that I had made out of pork rinds and honey and cinnamon.
Yeah.
And one of the guys brought up a point about cinnamon that, there's certain types and one type is better than the others, but everything, if it's not in moderation, isn't good anyways, but was bringing some stuff up and it's how you read through the comments and they kind of get jumbled.
Yeah.
And he had put a comment on there about imagine feeding this to kids, and I had put how my daughter was sitting next to me and loving this, and I took that as a shot, like, hey, you shouldn't be feeding. And I was just like, oh, that FU attitude kind of popped up, and I was like, hey man, that's like the most negative thing I've seen on here in a year, and and so I just want to. If anybody saw that and they thought I was being aggressive or whatever, I was being aggressive, but I apologize because I didn't I saw his comment and he had edited it a little bit after I had read it, and I was fuming because I was just like, don't tell me with my kids, just because that's the attitude I have, and so if anybody thinks I'm a jerk out there, I totally own it.
Well, listen, we appreciate you. I'm going to tell you from a board perspective, you don't need to apologize for anything.
Okay.
Nothing. I say things all the time that offend people. And I'm not going to apologize. You know what I mean? Like, I believe not everybody has to resonate with me. Not everybody's going to resonate with me. Like, I'm a very high energy, in your face, like, let's get it done type of dude. And I appreciate that. I spent many of my years changing the person that I am to try to relate to people. And then I had this epiphany that I was like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, you don't need to change for anybody. You just need to find your like kind. And thank goodness Shredder Nation is my like kind, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to apologize. I appreciate you doing that. But listen, let me tell you something too. Somebody else's opinion is none of your business. I teach my kids, my daughter this. I'm like, honey, somebody else's opinion is none of your damn business. And people are going to think what they think. They're going to do what they do. They're going to assume. And that's just going to be the reality of what life is. And if they don't serve you, they don't get your time. It's that simple. You know what I mean? So we're going to leave it there, but I appreciate you. You don't need to apologize. You do you. And I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's always better ways. You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to nitpick on every single post that somebody put up on what they're trying, the foods they're doing, the science behind it, like, I could tear a lot of things apart. But it's irrelevant. Like, it's irrelevant. In the grand scheme of things, it's irrelevant. And furthermore, if you're smashing the 80-20 lifestyle, which means 80% of the time you're choosing to fuel your body for peak performance and health, and 20% of the time is YOLO, meaning you're enjoying life, you're having it, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing you're going to crush the game. You're going to crush the game. And you're already 155% above the average person in population based off statistic numbers. So you have your damn cinnamon, you eat your honey. If somebody wanted to get, like, I have this Faye Greek yogurt at nighttime, right? This 0% Faye Greek yogurt, and I put some hemp hearts on it, and I have the 82% cocoa chocolate, and I break up some little pieces and put it on top. And then I take local honey from Asheville, North Carolina, right from my own mountains, right?
Yeah.
That's where you want to get honey. And I drizzle a little bit on top. I'm probably crushing a really good thing with that little bit of honey before bedtime. But what is somebody going to say to me? Like, what are you going to argue with me? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, give me a freaking break. Like, are you kidding me right now? You're going to go out, but you won't think anything twice about drinking a beer or, doing your other thing. Like, come on.
Right.
Come on. Let me find you doing that in Shredder Nation, by the way. If I find that, I will eat you.
I just wanted to, I probably came off as being a lot more aggressive than I needed to be, and so I like the positivity of our community.
Yeah, dude. But here's the thing: anybody that knows you as a human being knows that that's not you. And that's my point of why you don't need to apologize. Like, dude, the people who know you, and you're one of the most down to earth, good hearted, giving people like anywhere on the face. Like you do more for your community and you're more giving than me, dude. Like I admire you. I admire what you do. And you know, here's the thing, Tim. I've learned the hard way. You only need a good solid handful of the right people to live such a rich life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, anybody that knows you, but I appreciate you saying that. Listen, we're coming up to the top of the hour. This has been remarkable. I can't thank you enough for showing up. I can't thank you enough for working around my schedule as I travel. I can talk to you forever. Like your mindset, like you're my people. You are my people. I love the way you think. I love the way you're looking at things. I love the FU mentality. I love the model that you're setting, not just for yourself, for your daughter, for your wife, the support system you guys have created, the life that you're giving. Not only are you inspiring your children, you're inspiring other people around you, people in our group, which we're thankful for, your community members that are struggling with health. You're showing them that there's a way. And I believe every single person deserves to be healthy. I think it will make this world a better place. Not only will it better your life, I think it will make the world a better place because your mindset changes, the mentality of how you look at things changes. Like you're shaking your head in agreement. Like that's that. Yeah. Is there anything else that I missed? Is there any other tips or tricks or anything that you want to leave for somebody that you feel that we missed on or anything like that at all?
There's no magic bullet. There's no silver bullet. There's no magic pill. Consistency and just make that next decision, make it a good one. And if it isn't, make the next one is.
Yep. If it isn't, one more, right? If that's not the good decision, make the next one a good decision. And that's kind of been your message the entire call. So I hope people can pick up on that. You know, guys, do me a favor, drop into the comments. Let me know what you thought about this. Give Tim a shout out. Type in, what did you get from Tim? What are you going to take from him? How are you going to apply that to your life? What are you going to do one more? How are you going to level up one more? Right? And who are you doing it for? Whether it's yourself or somebody else or whatever it is you need, jump into the community. Make sure you're there. www.ershredders.com. It is freaking free. Just answer the 3 questions. There's so many people that come that just click it. Like, we're not going to let you in unless you answer the 3 questions. Why? Because it shows that you're making that first commitment choice, and it's such a small choice, but it's so important. You got to make that first choice, right? And then people are going to be there for you. Brother, this has been seriously, this is one of the best calls. I mean, we got into it. We talked about it. I mean, you gave so many tips and tricks. So I truly appreciate you. Let me ask you this. What's the next, where are you going? Keep it short, but what's the next step for you? What's the next layer? Put it out in the universe so I can help hold you accountable. What is it?
I don't know. Maybe get under 200 pounds. I don't know. I'm just kind of along for the ride right now. I'm just sticking with Steak and Shake and adding things in. Oh, by the way, thank you for reintroducing me to beets. I love them.
Yeah,
fresh.
Man.
Oh man, they don't refrigerate well, but man, fresh hot beets out of the smoker. Oh
yeah, but so good.
Just. I really don't know. Just trying to continue on with getting healthier and getting more tone, you know, and showing my kids, hey, at 46 years old, it's not the end of the world, you know.
Dude, you are just beginning. I look at it like that. Let me share one of my mindset tips. I'm 43, right? And I look at it like the way that I'm going with my health. I mean, unless something crazy happens, which obviously can any point in time, which is why I think it's also important that you choose to live your life at the fullest any day, because some freaky thing can happen. And if it's your time, it's your time, right?
Right. I agree.
I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of not living. I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of not living. And I hope that resonates with you guys, because that's what you should be scared of, right? Be scared of not living. Be scared of ruining this one life, this one chance that we get, this one vessel, this one body, this one whatever. Like, let that fuel you. That's what I'm scared of. And the way I looked at it is I'm like, man, I'm not even halfway through my life, because not only am I going to live to be 100 and God willing, but I'm going to live a healthy life to 100. Like, I hope, Tim, on the day I die, I wake up, I have the most delicious breakfast. I go for this most amazing hike to the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't know, running naked through a field. Like, that's just me. Like, you know what I mean? Doing something crazy. Right. And then I just go to sleep and I'm gone. And that's just like this epic way that I envision dying, living life all the way to the end. And then it's just my time. But I've lived every piece of it. And that's what you're doing, dude. You're choosing to live every piece of it. And I hope and pray that more people do that. That's my hope for everybody, man. So
can I say one thing, Jesse?
Go for it, dude. This is your show.
Okay. So I see a lot of things about people saying that they're living their best life as they're out partying, as they're out poisoning themselves. Are you really living your best life, or are you living the best life that other people have told you to live? When I'm not feeling great and I cleanse for 2 days, bang, I feel better. It's like this is the best life. This is the best life.
Yeah.
And it will be a long, healthy life. My mom has lost 35 pounds doing ER shit.
Go mom. Go
That's
mom.
Right. I wanted to congratulate her.
Come on, man. Now you're inspiring your mom. You're passing on. Yeah. I mean, good gosh. Like, guys, that's it. I hope you guys pick up on this. Like, no more nuggets from Tim. I mean, he's giving you everything you need. And I do believe, Tim, that the biggest piece of success is the mind. Our biggest muscle, our most powerful muscle is what lies between our ears. And if you can figure that part out, and again, it's not perfection, but if you can just learn to trick it a little bit each day, that compound result is going to turn into so much. So, dude, I appreciate you. I am literally one of your biggest freaking cheerleaders. I hope you know that. You reach out to me anytime you need to tweak some things, you need a little bit of advice, hey, this and that. I believe you have all your own answers, but if you ever want to brainstorm something or you need some tips and tricks, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I want to do this again in like another, 7-8 months so we can follow up again, because it was Tim, and then let's see where Tim goes. But man, I think that the sky's the limit for you, bro. The sky's the limit for you. And I just, I see amazing things happening. They're already happening, but I mean, I just see more for you. I hope that there's more for you. It's my prayer for you is that, things just keep coming to you, because gosh, you deserve it, bro. Listen, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Please tag, friends in the comments, smash the share button. Sharing is caring. People need to hear Tim's story. People need to understand and give themselves permission. So please share this out. Don't miss our call tomorrow night. Shred Your Testimonial. It is, gosh, you can find all these on our YouTube channel. We have a podcast, www.ershredders.com. ershredders.com. That gets you into our group. We busted over 26,000. Like, you deserve to be there. We will welcome you with open arms. We appreciate you. We love you. Hope you have an amazing night. Tim, have a great night, bud. Bye-bye.
You too. Take care.